Hello everyone, this is Lucy05 and welcome to the Cobra Command Central toy reviews. Today we'll be looking at the 2004 Mezco released Hellboy movie figure, Kroenen, or his full name, Carl Rupert Kroenen. Now, I have to be honest here, I never read the Hellboy comics before the movie came out. And when the movie came out, and I really liked the show. I really liked the occult supernatural stuff, and it involves with the Nazis, is involved with famous characters like Rasputin, it involved with Hitler having the Spear of Destiny and all that stuff, and it was really entertaining for me. Now bear in mind, in Malaysia, because the word hell, and because the title is called Hellboy, and the word hell was a bit sensitive for our government in Malaysia, they actually renamed it as Super Sapiens. It's really bizarre. And when the second sequel of the movie that came out, they decided not to call it Super Sapien 2, or just sticking with the original title that they changed it, they just call it Hellboy 2. So I thought the censorship in Malaysia is really retarded. Anyways, now for Kroenen, he's among my favorite villains, especially in the movie. When I first saw him in the movie, and he looks so badass. He comes across as he's actually a Nazi assassin working for the Thule Society, or the occult, the Nazi occult force, and he has clockwork for his heart. You can see it down where it's just where the heart is. And I really love the character. It was the most badass character that actually made my jaw dropped. So to be honest here, I never read the comics when I saw the movie. I never read the comics before the movie came out. So when the movie came out, and I really love the occult. When the occult mixed with Nazi and the supernatural, you got a really good thing going there, and those are my favorite things. So I went and read the comics and found out that Kroenen here is not a super assassin, but rather this meek scientist, a geneticist scientist. And he didn't appear a lot. He's not even a combatant at all. He's just a scientist, and that's it. And when he died, he left a very anticlimactic feel for me. So the movie itself is the only good thing for me. But it doesn't mean that I don't like the comics. I really love the comics. Until now, I'm still reading the comics. Whenever there's a new issue for Hellboy, I'll just read it. Now anyways, for this figure, it took me quite some time to actually find it. When it first released, a lot of people were buying this, I guess, or maybe a lot of shops were not selling it as well. So I can't find the figure. There were some shops that were selling it, and they were selling it in a scalp price, and I really hate buying scalp price toys, because from what I remember, some shops actually sold this for about 3 times the price as it originally priced in the market. So I got really pissed off, and I didn't buy them until about 1-2 years later. A shop actually sell this figure, this remaining Kroenen figure, for about, I think, less of the amount of the 3 times of the amount of what the shop was selling. So I immediately bought him, and I never regretted it. Despite the paint job was quite dark, as you can see, even if I put this kind of in this position of lighting, the clockwork is really hard to see. The mask is really, all the paint job here is very dark, so you hardly can see the details if you have him stand in this position and there's not much of lighting. So It's very hard to see. It's really hard to see all the details, the nice details he has on his body. But up close with the lighting, you see this beautiful chest piece here. His clockwork chest piece. It's very nicely detailed. You got the gas mask and the tonfas. I'm quite surprised that the tonfa is extremely thin and very small. He only came with these two accessories, the two bladed tonfas. The daggers on his shoulder is not removable, it's just part of his body, and you can't sheath his tonfas into his sheaths here, despite it showed that it has a sheath. In the back, see the leather, really nice, and really very poseable figure, despite he uses the ball joint on the hips here. He's a very poseable figure. You can do really dramatic poses for Kroenen here, to do, you know, as what he would do in the movie. Ankle joints, we can't turn the ankles, but somehow there's a joint for his feet here. I don't know why they decided to put a joint there to turn 360 degrees. There's double joint for the knee, and then there's a swivel thigh, ball jointed hips, ball jointed shoulder, then swivel the upper bicep and bend the elbow and then the wrist. Very nice. And basically his neck has double joints, if you notice. I'll show the mask later, but it basically has two double joints on the neck and can turn 360 degrees. Now, here's a fun part. His mask can be removed to show this horrendously disfigured face of his masochistic scarring. Very nice. Although he's very red too. It's like he just cut himself not long ago, but still very nice. His eyes sort of goes his one eye actually look at in the straight, and the other eye just slanted down in this direction, just like in the movie. And he has no lips, no eyelids at all. He's really horrifying looking man. You can always check it out in the for the Hellboy movie again, the first one. Oh, and the mask, behind the mask is just empty, but you can easily slot it in. Sometimes it's a bit too loose because there's no hinges or anything. There's a little bit there's tiny hinges you can see. Not much of lighting. I'm sorry. There's a tiny little hinge there, but it's just too small, so it tends to pop off easily. So there you have it. This is a review for Kroenen from Mezco. So I give this figure a solid good 8 out of 10. So this is the end of the review. This is Lucy05. Thank you for watching, and of transmission.